Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about the book that I'm reading. Well, I did finish reading, and although I'm going to make in the end of the month, I'm going to talk about all the books I've read. A bit, not that much. I'm going to talk about these two books because those probably were the ones I will need to speak a bit more, because the vast majority of the other books are either sequels or um, manga, but there are two that I'm currently reading and finishing. This one and this one probably I will do a dedicated video as well. The same happened with the Last Sacrifice, but I'm going to finish this month, so maybe these two I'm going to talk separately. But at this stage, I want to talk about two books. One, it's Tim Pratt's Herald of Ruin, and this book is the second book in the series. The series is called Arkham Horror, but this is the second book set in within that series, the Arkham Horror, because um, there are like several authors writing in that universe, but this particular author, Tim Pratt, wrote three books that deals with one character, at least one character. There are more that appears in the first, the second, I will believe in the third book, but most the series itself, it's called Carl Sanford, which is this guy here, which is well, if you know Arkham Horror, you know that he's part of the Lodge of the Silver Twilight. He is like the master of it, the top head, and he is also in the at least Arkham Horror board game, and the other one, LCG, with the card games, and it's also in. If I'm not mistaken, I know that it's in Eldritch Horror, and I believe it's also in Arkham Horror, the second edition, which is the first one, the first board game I played. And he is not a playable character or something like that, but he is there, and some information, some cards have his name. So Carl Farnsworth is not a good guy. You can it's mainly evil, either evil or more than evil. Yeah, he is evil, but he's also he follows everything that he does for this Silver Twilight Lodge. It's on his own terms, and although he is evil, he does sometimes help people, and I mean indirectly, not directly. So I don't know if you can consider him a good guy or a bad guy, but he is not a person that you would have dealings with. So basically, this tale, as I said, is the second novel in the series. You don't have to read the first one. I've read, and I don't feel I miss anything because there are some glimpses, and they are told here. So if there are some kind of part that needs to be said about the first book, they will say it here. They will, but apart from the interaction between Carl and another character, which is a thief, everything else is quite new. And so what we have here is like there is a new guy in town, which is called Tillinghast, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Tillinghast, and he's like Carl. He's making a shop, not not like Carl, but he's making a shop dealing with esoteric stuff. And Carl needs to know, and he wants to know because he controls everything that happens in Arkham. He needs to know, well, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to be selling useless trinkets, or is going to be selling something, well, more mysterious, more with properties, you may say so. And he convenes with another character, this thief, and tries to find out. as soon as he tries to investigate, he understands that this Tilgast is not well, some kind of hocus pocus. I don't want to call it that, but a false one. He is the real deal, and he starts noticing some strange things, like some gifts that he presents to some people, and the way those people behave afterwards. Then there is an instance that he works with this thief, as I said, and she is tasked to stealing something. And when she arrives there, that thing has been already stolen by another person. Well, that works for Tilgast, and so almost the vast majority of the book is this cat and mouse chase between this thief Carl and Tilgast himself and the lackeys, and you start noticing stuff like probably is more powerful even than Carl, probably has some more information about unworldly things than Carl, and so on. So it's quite interesting. If you want to know more about the Silver Twilight Lodge, how it works, how it functions, I would advise you to read this book. If you want to know more about Carl and these characters, I would advise you to read this book as well, because it tells more on all of the characters, and it's I would say that it's probably one of my favorite Arkham horror novels so far. And if you go to Goodreads, for example, you will see that this book has a rating of 4.16, which is amazing for Arkham horror novel. Of all, I don't know, 30 novels, there are only, I believe, 3 that surpass 4 stars, and this is one of them. The other one, it's also another book by him, Tim Pratt, as I said before. Sorry, let me just get you the name. It's sorry. The Ravening Deep, which is as a 4.02. Some Josh Reynolds as well, they are pretty well received as well. It's not only these two. And then the third book on this series, which is the third book that was released last year, as also over 4, which is this book here. This one. The Twilight Magos. So, and this one concludes this series. What can I advise? Yes, if you want to read this book, I would advise you, because he's pretty good, telling a good story, creating some good characters. But if you never played the game, or never knew much about that systems, I wouldn't advise you to read this book, because this characterization, everything that deals with is more focused on the book. And I mean that it's a good story, but it doesn't bring anything to you in terms of Lovecraftian horror. Okay, it's horror, yes, it has some elements, not that many, but there are some elements, but it's more to delve more on these characters. And there is a caveat here. This is the first book. It can be read without any issue, solely that book. But this second novel, I would advise you to read the third as well, because the book ends in kind of cliffhanger. As you probably know, when dealing with books that work within the series, a shared universe series, in this case this one, or Warhammer 40k, Forgotten Realms, and so on, there are some things that rarely change. In Forgotten Realms, far less, Dragonlance far less. Warhammer, yes, they do change, but usually you have to maintain the status quo. And what I mean by this is that you can't kill a character that is present in the game. So if you have a miniature of a character, if you kill if you are writing a book about that character, you know pretty standard that that character will be safe, because you can kill it. You know, if you kill it, what's the purpose of the miniature? So usually, books like Warhammer, they deal with some characters that some die, but usually it's not characters within the series. There are some situations that may happen, but it's very rare. And this one, again, these characters are part of the series. At least Carl is. The other two are mentioned in the again, the card game, but not in the Arkham or Eldritch or. So I don't want to know, if you are not interested again in the Silver Twilight Lodge or these characters. There is not much interest for you to read this book. And if you read this book, you have to read the third one, because I said this ends in a cliffhanger, and to maintain the status quo, this book had to be written. And I will say, this one, I want. I mean, they have to get to that status quo. Well, to treat that status quo. And this book, if I stop here, it corrupts the status quo. I mean, something happens to a character that should not happen. So I don't want to spoil much on this, but I would say that this book will solve this issue. Having said that, don't get me wrong. I gave this book an 88 out of 100. So it's a 5-star novel, low 5. I mean 4.5 something, but it's a 5-star novel, and it was one of my favorite books of this month. I have not finished those two books, so maybe one of those will be better than this one. But at least I have one which I considered a bit more, a better book, which I'm going to talk in the next video. So this one is all for Herald of Ruin. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.